So this video will show you how to enter data into your calculator. When you turn your calculator on, or by pressing the white button in the top right that looks like a little home, you'll get to your home page. This is the home screen of the calculator. What we want to do is we want to work our way down to this icon right here, which is the Data and Statistics page. So when you go to your calculator, use your navigation button, this big circle here, and work your way down. Once you get to the bottom row, move over to the right, and we're going to add a list and spreadsheet to the new document. Press enter here in the bottom right, and you get a spreadsheet type of screen that comes up. So this is where we want to enter in our data. So we're going to need some data to enter. Suppose we asked 10 students in our class, what size is your shoe? And we recorded the results. Here's our data. You may want to take a minute and pause the video, write those numbers down. Great, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to our calculator now, and we're going to enter in that data. So notice that in column A and row 1, that box is sort of highlighted. So if we type in our first data set of 11 and then press enter, it records that piece of data. The next one is 10, then 11, 9.5, 8.5, 9, 7.5, 6, 8, and 9. I like to do a little check. Notice that my last piece of data was in row number 10. I have 10 pieces of data. I know I didn't miss any. Sometimes you might miss some. Another handy thing to do is if you work your way all the way up to where the top of the column is, where it says the capital letter A, we can title the column here. If you're using your handheld calculator, you have to use the green buttons. If not, you can type in using your keyboard on your laptop. So we want this to be shoe sizes. So maybe I'll call it SHOE for shoe size. And then I press enter. So now I just called this list my shoe size list. So the calculator is going to give us a bunch of these crazy things. Okay, we'll hold on for 1 second. Let me show you how to get to these values here. So from this calculator screen, what I want to do is I want to analyze this data. By pressing the menu button, I can do a bunch of different things. Right now I want to go down to statistics. So I'm going to go to menu. I'm going to go down to 4, or I can just press the number 4. I want to do stat calculations. And I want to do one variable stats. Students call this the 411. So from your list of data, menu, and then 411. We only have one list of data, so press your tab button. Tab is located on the left side near the top. And tab down to the box that says OK, and then press enter. So now it's going to ask us, well, where do you want to get these lists from? So my X1 list, the list of my first set of data, if I move my cursor over to the right, pressing it twice allows me to choose the variable that I named. That's why I want to name that variable shoe, or that list shoe. I'll go down here, I'll move my cursor down, I'll click on shoe, and then I'm going to press enter and tab all the way down until I get to OK. What I'm telling the calculator to do now is to take the data that's in the list called shoe, and in column B, where it says first result column and then the B, put all the answers, all the calculations in B. If you press OK or press enter, you get your list of data. Now let me go through a couple of things, and I'll bounce back to the other page and I'll summarize them for you. The first one, the X with the bar on it, is the average of the data. You add up those scores and divide by how many you have. It tells me what the average is. So my average shoe size is a little less than a 9, 8.95. There's other statistical measures that are here. Some we need, some we do not. The next one I want to point out to you is something called the standard deviation. The standard deviation helps to measure the spread of the data, and we'll talk more about that a little later on. But right now we can say the standard deviation is about 1.5. Next is N. N is the number of data points, the number of values we had. We had 10 shoe sizes, we have 10. The next 5, and I'm going to show all 5 at once. The next 5 is what's called the 5-number summary. The minimum shoe size was 6. That's what min X means. I'm going to skip over the next one and go to the median X. You may remember that the median is the middle value when they're ordered from smallest to largest, or the average if there's 2 in the middle, if you have an even number of scores. So our median shoe size is 9. The maximum shoe size is 11. Now, the ones that say Q1 and Q3, those are what we call quartiles, or the 25th percentile. So what that means is that 25% of our data is at or below the lower quartile of 8. So roughly 25% of our data is 8 or below. Q3 is called the upper quartile. The upper quartile is the 75th percentile. It means that 75% of our data is at or below that value. This again is called our 5-number summary. So let's go back and summarize real quick. These are some of the things that you want to know. X bar is the mean or the average, the X with the little bar on top. The standard deviation is called sigma. This is a Greek letter called sigma. And that stands for the standard deviation. Then we have the number of data values. And these last 5 here is our 5-number summary. Now, while the calculator shows us a lot of good things, there's things that it doesn't show us as well. It doesn't show us, for example, the mode. You probably remember the mode is which one occurs most often. It doesn't show you the range, which is the difference between your largest and smallest. It doesn't show you what's called the interquartile range. The interquartile range is the difference between the upper and lower quartiles, the difference between Q3 and Q1. So this is a brief summary as to how to enter data into the calculator and how to analyze that data using one variable statistics.